They were found lying side by side on a hill. No signs of violence, no struggle, no blood. Just two men in suits, wearing lead masks over their eyes. Nearby, police found a notebook. Inside were instructions written calmly, deliberately, as if the men had known exactly what was going to happen. 1630, be at agreed place. 1830, ingest capsules. After effect, protect metals. Await signal. No explanation. No panic. Just a plan. And both men were dead. On August 20th, 1966, a young boy was flying a kite near a hill called Morro do Ventum, just outside Niterói, Brazil. As he walked higher, he noticed two shapes in the grass. At first, he thought they were asleep. Then he saw the masks. They weren't medical. They weren't protective gear. They were crudely cut from lead, shaped like blindfolds, resting over the men's eyes. The men were identified as Manuel Pereira da Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana. They were electronics technicians, known by friends as intelligent, methodical, and deeply curious. They had no criminal history, no mental health records, no reason on the surface to be on that hill, but their final day had been carefully planned. Receipts showed they had traveled from their hometown to Niterói. They bought a bottle of water, 2 raincoats, and the materials used to make the lead masks. They told family they were going out to buy supplies. They never came home. When police examined the bodies, something didn't make sense. There were no defensive injuries, no sign of poisoning, because by the time autopsies were performed, decomposition had erased key evidence. And yet, everything about the scene suggested intention. These men hadn't wandered onto that hill. They had gone there to do something specific, and whatever it was, it killed them. The question wasn't how they died. It was why they were waiting. The attached case found beside the bodies was clean and organized. Inside, tools, a notebook, and the handwritten instructions. No personal letters, no apologies, just steps. The most disturbing line was also the calmest. After effect, protect metals. Protect from what? Radiation? Light? Something airborne? The lead masks suddenly made more sense. They weren't disguises. They were precautions. Friends later told police the men were involved in spiritualist and scientific groups. They believed in communication with higher intelligences, signals, messages, experiments, not cult behavior, but structured curiosity. They weren't reckless. They were precise. The timing in the notebook mattered. The men had written specific hours. They had ingested something at a set time, and then waited, comma, not fled, not hid. They lay down, side by side, and waited for the signal. Police searched the area. They found nothing else, comma, no device, no transmitter, no signs of a third person. The hill offered no shelter, comma, no reason to be there, unless something was expected to arrive. As news spread, theories flooded in. Some said it was a suicide pact. Others said it was a ritual gone wrong. But suicide didn't fit. There was no desperation, no emotional farewell. And rituals don't usually come with electronics tools and timing schedules. Then investigators realized something unsettling. The men had done this before. Manuel and Miguel weren't experimenting for the first time. Months earlier, they had attempted a similar communication, but abandoned it. Friends said they believed they were close to success, that this final trip was the one that mattered. They weren't trying to escape life. They were trying to reach something. One theory suggested the capsules were poison, but no poison was ever identified. Another claimed they were hallucinogens, But again, no residue remained, and no one could explain why experienced technicians would take an unknown substance without testing, unless they believed the outcome was controlled. UFO researchers took interest. Brazil in the 1960s was no stranger to unexplained sightings. Some believed the men were preparing for a contact event. The lead masks, they argued, were protection from intense light. The instructions were a countdown. The hill was the meeting point. Skeptics dismissed this as fantasy, but even skeptics couldn't explain the organization, or the lack of fear, or the fact that both men died at the same time, in the same position, without disturbance. The case went cold. No arrests, no final report, just two bodies on a hill, and instructions that ended mid-thought. A wait signal? They were waiting for something, but what if it arrived? The lead mask's case was never solved. No explanation fully accounts for every detail. Not suicide, not accident, not delusion. Each theory explains part of what happened, and quietly avoids the rest. If this was self-inflicted, why the secrecy? Why travel hours away? Why leave no letters? Why bring tools, but no test results? And why the masks? Lead isn't symbolic. It's practical. It's used to block something. If this was an accident, why the timing? Why write instructions at all? Why record specific hours? Why lie down together, side by side, as if waiting for something to begin? Accidents don't follow schedules. And if this was belief, why did two trained technicians trust it completely? These weren't desperate men. They held jobs. They had families. They made plans. Yet whatever they believed in was convincing enough to override instinct, fear, and survival itself. The hill is quiet now. No memorial, no marker, no warning. People walk past it without knowing that two men once chose that exact spot to wait for something no one else could see, but the instructions still exist. Not rumors, not stories, written proof, a calm, deliberate plan, ending with a sentence that was never completed. A wait signal? They didn't run. They didn't fight. They didn't hesitate. They followed the plan exactly. And whatever they believed would happen next happened before anyone else arrived. The most unsettling possibility isn't that they were wrong. It's that they might have been right about something, and that whatever they were waiting for didn't leave a trace. Because if nothing happened that day, then why does the case still refuse to explain itself? Subscribe for more real, unresolved mysteries.